To start or join your conference, press 1. After the tone, state your name, followed by the pound or hash sign. Thank you. After joining the call, to record the conference for those who may miss this call, or for future playback, press star 2. You will now be placed into conference. To mute your line, press star 6. To unmute, press pound 6.
Hello. Sounds like a handful of you.
Hey, Garrett.
How are you guys?
Hey, Garrett.
Can you see me?
Hey, Garrett.
Yeah.
It's Cassandra. I'm not able to get on the video because we have YouTube blocked on our internet.
Oh, okay.
I let Mary Jane know, but she's not in the office right now, so hopefully I'll get it fixed later.
Yeah, well, this is recording, so it will be available for review later if you would like. And I am going to demonstrate some things live on the desktop, so you might want to check that video out when you do have the opportunity to do so.
Okay.
Has anyone been able to see the video? Do I have anyone on the video right now?
Yes, it's Jane. It's up.
Great, excellent. So we're just going to give it just a few more minutes. Today we are rolling out something I think that's really exciting and hopefully will be very helpful as we move forward. And I need to just demonstrate briefly how this will work as we do move forward. And there's tools in here that will be both useful for our staffing managers and our sales folks. So I'm going to give it just another minute in case we have anybody else join the call. If you don't mind, I'd like to do a brief roll call. So I've got Jane and Cassandra. Who else is on the call today? Tondre, Megan, Shayna.
Richardson Branch.
Excellent. Richardson.
Pat Murphy, Albuquerque.
Perfect. Pat Murphy, thank you. Have I said everyone's name, or is there anyone that I haven't repeated back?
OJ from Bakersfield.
OJ, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Excellent.
Stephanie in Baton Rouge.
Perfect. Stephanie in Baton Rouge. All right, perfect. I'm real quick. This is the first time I'm using this system. This is probably a system we're going to be using moving forward. And just ordered, or actually just about to order, webcams that we're going to ship out to each of your offices. And this is called Google Hangouts. And along the bottom of the screen, we'll be able to all look and see each other and share documents and pass the baton and work on things together. So this will be a way for us to kind of be a little bit more together as a group as we move forward. So you could probably expect to see your webcams in the mail sometime within the next 2 weeks. And today I wanted to roll out, we have been working on for quite some time a project where we will be able to finally have all of our hiring paperwork in a digital format that also accepts digital signatures. That project is now complete, and we're rolling that out for you to use today. So as we go ahead and get started, I just need to clarify, since this is the first time I've used this, I'm going to go to a screen share, and please let me know if you see the change in my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, excellent. And I know that the timing of the video may be a little off with the audio of this recording, and then on the recording after the fact it will be more better matched up. So I'll try to take it slow. We're going to be sending out a folder to each and every one of you that is a zipped folder. It's called Snelling Medical Staffing All Forms. And this is going to go out by email immediately after the end of this call. We're also going to post it in the medical group on Chatter. And at some point, this is also going to go up on our intranet. So this will always be available. And we intend to update these forms annually. So you'll see each and every one of these forms is dated 2012 at the bottom of the form, and I'll just open one up to demonstrate that to you.
Gary, were you supposed to go away? Because all I was the black screen.
Yeah, it's, let me know if you see the form. It's supposed to be opening up on your screen any moment now.
Oh, okay.
Do you see there should be a PDF that just opened up on your screen. Does anyone see that?
I see it.
Okay, good. All right, so at the bottom of this form, you can see it's got our medical staffing and this number associates it with 2012. So as we update these forms annually, that'll be updated as well, and we'll be able to roll that out to you in the field. So just to kind of give you a brief explanation, I know that not everyone is super computer savvy, so I'm going to walk you through literally from scratch. When you get a zipped folder, the first thing we need to do is unzip that folder. So if you will open up the attachment or move the attached file to your desktop and then right-click on it and choose Extract All, it should open up your extraction wizard on your screen. Once that is opened up, now we select Next. And before I hit Next one more time, I'm going to tell it where on my computer that I want these files to be stored so that there'll be a place where we can locate them as we move forward. A lot of you probably have an internal storage device, a place that you prefer to keep files, so maybe put them there. In some cases, you might store them on your local desktop or your local computer. So now that I've selected where I would like it to be located, I select Next. And very quickly, it goes through the extraction process. And it's basically unzipping the entire folder so that you have all of the forms readily available. The funny thing about zip files is that if you open up the zip folder without extracting, you can still access the forms. But it takes a lot longer because it has to unzip each form individually. So I recommend that you go ahead and extract them before you start using the forms. So now that that is complete, I have a Selling Medical Staffing Forms folder on my desktop. Hopefully that's coming up on your screen here shortly. And inside of that folder, we've now broken all of the forms down into categories based on the staffing process. So the first thing I would like to point out is that there's a Word document that says Read Me First. I'm going to show you what that document looks like. Hopefully that's coming up on your screen here in a moment. What we've done here is basically provided a written navigator on all the things that I'm covering in our call today. So it explains how to extract the file. Once the file is extracted, it then explains if you don't have the latest version of Adobe Reader, it provides you with a link so that you can download the latest version of Adobe Reader, which is necessary for digital signatures. And then it demonstrates how to actually create your signature, which you only have to do one time, and then it will remember your signature moving forward. What I also thought about and decided to provide is a Read Me First for candidates. So this is a Word document that you would send with the other forms when you're sending the forms over to your candidate. It walks them through how to install the latest version of Adobe and set up their digital signature. And hopefully that will be able to keep the process very simple and easy for your candidates to follow. Now that we have that, we've broken the folders into 5 different areas. Are you guys seeing the folders on my screen?
I am. Yes.
Okay, good. So first is checklist and an impact flow sheet. So 2 weeks ago when we did the impact credentialing and impact training, we provided each of you with a field employee, let's see if I can get this to open, flow sheet that basically describes from A to Z how we actually go through and utilize impact in its fullest capacity while still also mirroring our credentialing process. So if you hadn't received this, you have it now, and it's in that folder. And our recommendation is to go ahead and print this out and keep it available at your desk, maybe post it on the wall by your phone, so that it's really easy and simple for you to follow each and every time that you're putting a candidate through the medical staffing process. The other form in this folder is a new form that we're providing to you that is a field employee file checklist. This checklist, you can put the date that the forms were sent, received, and when they were entered, or if they were entered into Impact. And that may happen either on your side or our side, but we can keep this form up to date as long as this form is located on the Impact on the candidate screen through the history nodes. And if anyone on the call doesn't know how to do that at this point, I know we've demonstrated on multiple calls before, but that's okay. Don't hesitate to please email us, and we will update you on how to attach documents inside of Impact. So this form should hopefully be able to keep us on track and expedite, obviously, the process. Again, all of this is in the name of expediency. So in the second folder, we have all of our pre-hire paperwork, which includes confidentiality of client information, the consumer credit authorization, drug-free workplace, both in English and... Oh, boy.
More than 10 U.S. presidents struggled with the nation's economy.
Somebody put us on hold. Let's hold on a second.
Put millions of people to work across the country. This was first opened our doors in 1951. Snelling has become one of the world's largest and most respected and reputable.
Sorry.
That's okay. If we have hold music, let's put our phones on mute and on hold, which is *6.
Okay, sorry. She's sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No big deal. So we have the drug-free workplace policy both in English and Spanish, equal employment opportunity data, field interview application. And this is a form I would like to demonstrate. You know what we've talked about before, if they have 7 years of work history or greater, our forms only allow for 3 past employers. So we've included a PDF version of the one page that has the work history. So if an employee of ours has more than 3 previous work employers that they need to list on their work history, you can send them this extra document and have them fill this out, sign it, and send it in with the original IDF. And that way you were able to get all the paperwork in one concrete package. So that is, I think, a nice little addition. We've also added the OIG GSA release form and the supervisor peer reference. So all of this is a part of pre-hire. Then we can move on to post-hire paperwork, which includes the handbook, the field employee handbook receipt, the health and safety policy, the 2012 I-9, 2012 W-4, the non-discrimination anti-harassment policy, and the post-hire questionnaire. And we've also added a folder inside this folder that's called additional credentialing forms if required by client. So these are the things that are outside of primary source verification, but some of our clients may require for their credentialing process. So if that is the case, we've provided those forms for you here. To kind of address this for you, I do want to also show you briefly another document that we have. Oh, goodness. I let it go. Why didn't I? There it is. That is also included in this folder on the home page. This is for the business development managers or the staffing managers who are taking orders. This is a new form. This is our client credentialing checklist. This is a PDF that you can complete on the computer, or you can print and take with you to an appointment with your client. On this form, it shows what we already do as a credentialing, primary source verification credentialing provider. So it says required for Snelling candidates, and the checkbox is here. These are things that we do in every case. Then below that, we've included all the additional things that our customer may require for us to do in order to credential properly within their organizations, and we've allowed for them to put checks under required, preferred, or not required, and a space for notes. So as you're taking the order, it's important that you go ahead and run down this list and ensure that we're covering everything that matches their needs. And then on the second page here, we've asked you for the name of the credentialing contact at that employer. So if there is an individual at the employer who handles internally their credentialing, let's get that information on this form as well. That will help expedite our process if we have any additional questions as we move forward. I'm hopeful that this will help you. We've also included a section here at the bottom for you to complete. Are there additional steps that we need to know about your decision-making process? So as we were asking about what our client's decision-making process is, when you're ready to pass over an assignment to your staffing manager, it's important that a business development manager lets their staffing manager know exactly what our client's decision-making process includes so that our expectations are set properly while we're talking to our candidates. So this is a place for you to put those notes and then provide this form to your staffing manager before they begin a new assignment. Is there any questions about this particular form? I'm sure if you have questions after you've had a chance to look at it on your local machine, don't hesitate to let me know. We'll be sure certainly make ourselves available for you to answer those as well. Okay, so back to this folder. One other folder we've added inside of post-hire paperwork is payroll election forms. Typically, the payroll election forms are unique to each individual office. So we've broken them down by state and by office location. And when you open up that form, it will have your office number already entered into this form. So now you can just print this and have your candidate complete it. So here's a project ID, and this form, submit that form back into us, and it's got all the updated information that we'll need to process their payroll properly under the SMS project ID. So we wanted to try to make this as simple as possible and provide you everything in one central location. Last, we have the candidate release forms, which right now only includes the employee-owned vehicle. This may also include, if the need arises as we move forward, the cash handling release, or if there's any other releases that are necessary, we can certainly look at those and add those as well. And then lastly, the client release forms. So we have the bloodborne pathogen, client safety, and client vehicle operator PDFs. Now I'm just going to show you real briefly, and I will wait until you guys tell me that you see it on the screen again. I've opened up one of our forms by PDF. I'm going to show you how the signature function works. So when you guys see this, just someone let me know.
Client credentialing checklist.
Is that all you see is the client credentialing checklist? Or do you see
It froze. I had to refresh it.
Oh, I see. So maybe everyone refresh. I'm sorry. We're working out the kinks. What you should see is confidentiality of client information.
I haven't.
Okay. And again, this video will be available after this call is ended, and we'll see what I can do to work out some of these kinks as we move forward. Okay, so the confidentiality of client information. So as you can see, if I click on a box, I can type into that box the appropriate information. So shortly here you should see my name popping up, and then I'm going to go ahead and add today's date. Now the last thing that's needed on this form is for the employee signature. So up on the top right-hand side of the PDF, if you're using Adobe PDF Reader 10, there should be 3 tabs, one that says Tools, another that says Sign, and one that says Comment. I'm going to go ahead and click on Sign. Now, if this is your first time, where this says Place Signature, it'll actually ask you to create your signature. And then moving forward, it'll always say Place Signature. So it's pretty simple to create your first signature. Since mine's already been created, I'm going to click on Place Signature, and then if I just move my mouse over to the box that says Employee Signature and click on that box, it now has imprinted that signature under the Employee Signature line. This is powered by Adobe EcoSign, so I had to complete an online form that says I understand that this is a legal and binding signature. And Snelling has decided that we will accept that as a legal and binding signature from our candidates. No longer are we required to get wet signatures. Now that I have this here, all they have to do is click on Done Signing, again on the right-hand side. I can tell it to confirm, and then it asks me where I want to save the signed form. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. If the candidate has multiple forms, they'll go through this process on each one of those forms, and then they can just attach all the new PDFs. So if I lower my screen, it should show, here it is, confidentiality information signed. I could just attach that to an email and send that into the appropriate staffing manager, and you now have legal and binding signatures available for our use. So does anybody have any questions related to that?
Yeah, how do you get the signature in there?
The navigator, the paper navigator that I have included that says "Read Me First" will give you basic instructions. There's a link at the very bottom. It will give you instructions. But basically, where I hit Place Signature, with the first time you do it, it'll say, instead of Place Signature, it'll say Create Signature. You click on that. It gives you the acknowledgement that you're signing a legal document. And then you put in you just type in your signature, and it gives you a variety of different fonts to choose from. You choose the one that you like, and then you're done. And then moving forward, all you ever have to do is hit Place Signature and drag it to the appropriate field, drop it, and you're done. So when you guys get these forms, try them. I think you'll find it's pretty simple to do. But again, if you're having any challenges with it, let me know. The goal, obviously, is to keep this as simple as possible for our candidates. We obviously don't want to send them a bunch of forms and they won't complete them because it's too laborious. But I am very confident that versus printing, signing these forms and completing them by pen, looking for a scanner or a fax machine and trying to get those back into you, or having to go back to your office because we didn't get all the forms the first time around that we needed, I'm positive that this process is a great improvement over what we've been doing in the past. And hopefully this will help you, again, expedite our staffing process when working with our candidates and moving forward. And then from a business development standpoint, hopefully that credentialing questionnaire will now help us ask the right questions, as well as being able to educate our customer on exactly what it is we do in our credentialing process so that they understand what they're signing off on if they choose not to use any additional forms that we have available. Because I know that a handful of you have had questions about, well, what exactly does our credentialing process involve, and how do I tell my customer that? Well, that form now answers those questions for you. Any additional questions related to the forms project? Great. Well, I hope you guys are excited, because I am, and it's taken us a lawfully long time to get to where we are, and quite a bit of an expense to get these forms all digital. I mean, you can click on every box, you can put in the information where it needs to go. We've gone over the laborious project of verifying that every one of them works correctly, so shouldn't have any hiccups or problems as you guys receive them. But if you do, let us know, and we'll fix it very quickly. Okay, so those are going to go out as soon as this call has ended, and if you need anything else related to that, let me know. I just wanted to talk about a few wins to kind of, before we wrap up our call today. I've had a lot of great conversations with a handful of you. A lot of you have taken advantage of the one-on-ones that I've been doing, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully, both myself and you guys will get better at keeping them up on a week-over-week basis. I know with the holiday and a handful of other things that's gotten in the way of some of our calls, so I apologize for that. But through those conversations, we've been able to really get pretty deep into a lot of really good information, not only about just our basic process, but really expanding upon that and really digging into what exactly is it that we can offer outside of just the staffing piece. And in the last 2 weeks, I've received a lot of good feedback from a handful of you commenting on the fact that you've been able to get some wins on getting just payrolling job opportunities for home health companies, and that's winding up to become a pretty hot item. And in fact, that I'd say out of, and I'm guessing a little bit, but out of every 10 calls, we're getting one nibble that there's some real interest on us being a payroll management company of sorts to help them as they grow their businesses. So that's fantastic news. I'm sorry?
Sorry, may I ask a question?
Yes, please. Uh-huh.
With the home healthcare payrolling, the one question I have is kind of, and obviously I know it's going to be different from region to region, but in general, what's kind of the average markup that people are quoting for that? And then the other thing too is, what steps are you doing to encourage to discourage slow pay from these? Because I've thought about going after that business, and one of my biggest concerns is payment.
Yeah. Well, the first part of your question is on the pricing piece. Really not looking at giving much of a reduction off of our staffing pricing. The bottom line is that they're getting medical malpractice insurance coverage, they're getting primary source verification credentialing, they're getting obviously everything else that we offer, so we're covering workman's comp insurance, SUTA and FUTA, and all of that within that pricing model. So all we're really looking to reduce out of that pricing is the time that we would put into staffing those positions ourselves. And frankly, we have to take every one of their candidates and run them through credentialing if we staff them or not. At this point, if they're going to run through our payroll processing, then we're going to have to credential those candidates. So I would recommend that if you would just ensure that when you are pricing, you keep your gross profit margins over 20%, you're pricing it very effectively for your own individual business. And the recommended pricing sheets that I sent out earlier this year, those are on average showing about a 25% gross profit margin. So you could look at giving a 5% reduction in gross profit margin, and what does that do to your final number when it comes to the payrolling? I think that you're getting very effective and still making quality margins on that business. The second part of your question was that you were asking me, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank real quickly.
I was just asking about, is there any, has anybody had any, my biggest concern with going after
yes, about payment. We haven't had any issues at this point, and the primary reason I believe behind that is that most everyone is only approaching the home health companies on the list that I sent out to each office as leads. These are Medicare-approved home health organizations, and the way they get approved by Medicare is that they have to have a very high percentage of their claims have to be automatically approved first try with Medicare. So that means that they are completing their claims correctly, they're delivering them to Medicare, and Medicare is paying them quickly. They're not having to put the process off because they can't, code their claims correctly. So I would say that I would try to stick to that list if you could. And in those cases, I think that you're going to find we're not going to have any issues with customers who are not paying us on time or quickly, because they're getting their money on time and very quickly because they're doing the right things to keep that Medicare-approved label. If that does come up, OJ, I know that Jane has had this experience before. We have some real good collections people here on staff, and we could work with you and help on the credentialing process. And I think that we've been very successful when working with some of our franchise offices who have trusted to let our collections folks help them, and we've been able to get that money quickly. Does that answer your question, OJ?
It does. I'm sorry, you broke up on my line, though, when you said what was kind of the average markup that people are quoting.
Oh, I'm just recommending that if you use that pricing model that I sent out earlier this year, if you reduce the bill rate to keep your profit margins above 20%, which is about a 5% reduction from our staffing rate, you're giving them a fair and effective payroll processing rate, and you're keeping our margins where they need to be, especially when considering everything else that we cover with regard to payrolling. We're not saving ourselves a whole lot of trouble by payrolling their employees. The only thing we're eliminating is the fact that we're actually going out and finding the candidates ourselves.
Right.
And I think that at that price point, we haven't had any problem winning an appropriate number of those orders or proposals that we're sending out. And anyway, so I'm super excited about the feedback I'm getting, and in fact, I'm finding that in a lot of cases that's turned out to be a real win and a real opportunity. And I think the more time we focus on qualifying or better understanding our customers' pain and understanding their needs, it will put us in a better position to present this opportunity. I don't recommend that we suggest pricing without having a foundation to fall on. We need to really know what our customers' pains are, and if their pains truly are related to cash management or being able to retain their existing medical team because they're not full-time or they don't offer benefits, well, then payrolling is a real opportunity. We do offer 401k. We do have a basic health, dental, vision benefits program. We do have a vacation reimbursement, programs that we offer. And one thing, next week, Heather George is offered to come in, and I know that we do these calls every other week, but she was only available for us next week. So next week she's going to come in, and we're going to do a live training, but we're also going to HR's agreed to come in, and they're going to do a PowerPoint presentation and talk to us about these benefits, what the true cost of these benefits are to our field employees, and what the advantages of these benefits are for our employers. In addition to that, when we do that training next week, I will also have a new marketing piece that marketing is almost finished with that will actually talk to payrolling specifically so that you can, if you have customers that ask for more information, we'll have that. We're going to have it in a form of a Haley mail template as well as just a printable form that you can print at your local office and hand out. It's not going to be a fancy slick or anything along those lines. But I think hopefully that will be helpful. And one other big win, I'm going to brag a little bit about our St. Louis office. They've been having a lot of success at getting interest on the payrolling piece, and just yesterday they notified me that they have a client who's also interested in using us strictly to provide credentialing services. So we are in the process, and hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, maybe by the end of this week at the latest, we're going to have pricing set up for that, and I'll make sure I deliver that out to each and every one of you as well. So then if you do have customers, and a lot of our small healthcare organizations would really appreciate it because they pay other companies. There are firms that do strictly credentialing, and they'll pay a pretty good premium to credential a candidate. So why not go ahead and offer that as a service? My goal is that if we could just get a toe in the door, over time we're going to be able to get our whole body in the door. So if they use us for credentialing now, hopefully down the road they're going to use us for staffing or payrolling or a variety of all the different options that we offer. But I'm really excited that a lot of these things, and these have been through a lot of conversations we've had in these groups, are starting to really take hold, and we're seeing significant increases. In fact, we had almost a 6% jump in revenue week over week last week, which is pretty significant because we've been more on a 3% trajectory throughout the year, and I count a lot of that towards this payrolling, and I think that that's just going to do nothing but continue to grow throughout the summer. Any other questions related to that topic? Great, okay. Guys, I wanted to keep this short to 30 minutes. If you have anything that you need, you know how to reach us. Thank you all so very much. I'm really excited. I've seen some real improvements in almost every one of your offices. You guys are doing a great job. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's all about activity. It's all about volume. Take the time to fully understand your clients and their needs. Let's really get some winnable, fillable orders when we hand them off to our staffing team. And then we know that those positions are going to get filled and we're going to earn the revenue that we deserve. And I got to be frank about the pricing right now. It's a little all over the map, but we are winning just as frequently orders at the recommended pricing that I've sent out as we are on those who are pricing a little bit lower. You know, bring up those pricings, get your gross profit margin around 25%. That puts you in the average nationwide of all healthcare staffing organizations, and we're winning those orders. And we deserve those orders for the amount of effort that goes into winning the business and then filling it. So have confidence in yourself, have confidence in the pricing, and we're going to do great. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful finish to your week, and I look forward to talking to each of you as we move forward.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.